Hi folks, Canadian Prepper here. So it's time for the third and final installment of the Diamondback bug-out truck build. Be sure to check out parts 1 and 2 prior to watching this installment. I will post links on the video and in the description. The interior layout of the truck will be discussed in another video series, and just for the record, this is a 2016 Tacoma with a Diamondback HD cover. Holds 1,600 pounds, built rock solid, and can be uninstalled in 15 minutes. Diamondback has numerous tonneau covers that you can check out on their website, for which I'll post a link in the description. Don't forget that you can show your support for the channel simply by thumbing up or leaving a comment below. Enjoy the video.
Now, people have asked me the question, am I worried about theft? And not only am I very situationally aware, so I'm aware of where I park, I'm just very aware of my surroundings in that regard. I'm never too far from the truck, but in addition to that, I have the Diamondback cover on here, which is going to require some tools for them to get into if they wanted to. So even if they were to bust open the tailgate, in order to get into this cross bin, they're going to have to bust in to the Diamondback cover, which is going to be a much harder task than busting the tailgate. So I'm not too worried about it, and you know what, if I do get broken into and I lose a few things, it's not the end of the world. It would be a lesson learned, and I would go back to the drawing board and figure out how to do it all again. But the practicality of me having my gear in here, when you go out into the field as much as I do on a regular basis, it just makes more sense to have it permanently in here to save me the work of constantly reloading it and unloading it into the vehicle. So some tea lights, 100 tea lights for $4. This is going to provide you with warmth, with fire starting. There's a wax there, so you know it's going to be a great fire starter. And I think there even is some systems where you can cook with these, although I wouldn't rely on that because there's just not enough BTUs to heat something up quick. But you could, you know, melt snow potentially, or heat up the interior of the vehicle. Just some miscellaneous cordage, paracord, Kevlar cord, stuff like that. So Diamondback also sent me some of these double rhino grip things, and I actually might at some point mount a gun within here. I'm not really sure if I'm going to do that, but it's something I might look into, mounting a gun to the truck with these, but that would take up a significant amount of space in this internal bin that they've sent me here. So I'm not really sure if I want to do that just yet, but it would be cool. 10 by 12 tarp. I should probably get another one of these in here just to enhance my shelter options. I do have a 3-season tent, which honestly I don't even really use in the winter because it doesn't really there's no real point in using it. I'd rather just, you know, sleep by a long fire with a tarp. Now I also do keep a small fire extinguisher in the vehicle. I've considered putting it back here, but I just find that it might not be accessible enough, especially, you know, if there's a rollover or something like that and something's on fire, it just might not be as accessible. I'm assuming. It's hard to say. Or if somebody else's vehicle was on fire and I had to go over there and put the fire out, it's probably better to have it in the vehicle. So for that reason, it's tier 1. So now that we're done with this section, let's check out what we have in the back.
Alright, so one other thing that I've added to the truck is this stainless steel bin that I got from Princess Auto. It was on sale for 15 bucks. It's the perfect thing for melting snow. As many of you know, when you're melting snow, 10 liters of snow is basically 1 liter of water. So you need a very large bin to make the process easier. And in conjunction with that, I picked up this portable camp stove that you can basically set up over any fire and use it as a grill, and this thing is gonna sit right on top of that, so I'll show you how that works. So this camp stove is made by a company called Grip. Very easy to set up. There's screws there so you can increase the tension if you need to. Pretty straightforward. Put your stainless steel bin on there. It's a match made in heaven. put some wood underneath there. Not only are you going to keep warm, you're going to be able to boil water at the same time. So it really is perfect. It's a perfect match. And of course, you can store things in the pot for transport and then just put this in there. It fits about halfway down, so it could even act as a bit of a separator in there. So I'm pretty happy with this prep, even as a handle. So if you wanted to hang it off a tree branch or something like that, it'd have to be very sturdy because this is going to carry a lot of water. So, but it's a great size for melting water over a fire in conjunction with this grill. They do have bigger grills, which are I think 3 feet by 1 feet. They're rectangular, but I didn't want to get that. That was just too big for something of such limited functionality, or something that I'm probably not going to use that much in the truck. But for something lightweight, this serves a variety of purposes. Obviously, stainless steel pail, can't go wrong with that. So one very cool feature of the Tacoma is the backup camera. I literally don't even have to shoulder check or look behind me or anything. This thing is a wide angle camera, and there's even a line superimposed on the screen which shows you where your vehicle ends. So it's almost impossible to screw up a park job with this thing. Another great feature of the Tacoma is the tailgate dampener. So never have to worry about that slamming on you. And it's still a very heavy duty tailgate. So they haven't compromised on the quality for the sake of putting that feature in there. Very strong, very sturdy. I have absolutely no concerns about this thing not being able to hold its own. Also, as you can see here, I do have the tow package, has all the hookups. So the specs on this double cab TRD Sport version of the Tacoma with 4-wheel drive is that I do have the tow package, so I can tow I think up to 7,200 pounds. Of course, you would never want to max that out, and it has a payload of 1,600 pounds. Once again, something I would probably never try to max out. But let's get into the back of the truck, shall we? So what I have back here is pretty straightforward. A lot of the normal tools you'd find. I do carry a full-size shovel, steel shovel, full tang, all one piece. It's in a scoop profiles. You're going to want that scoop, especially if you have to shovel a lot of snow. I also do just carry a camp chair, just an old camp chair. You don't want to underestimate the power of a chair, especially when you're in the bush. So you've seen the Scepter military grade fuel canisters. These are made in Canada. I have 2 of them. Once again, I'm going to mount these differently. I'm probably going to get a roof rack over the cab of the vehicle and put these in, which is going to free up this space in here, because behind here, as you'll see in a minute, I have a 400 watt AC outlet. I do have an inverter in the vehicle as well, but that's kind of nice there. If you had to do some work back here with tools or whatnot, you have your outlet right there. And in the side compartments, I also have some tie downs and bungee cords. So the next item is this military grade water container from Scepter. Definitely something I'm going to use a lot in the summertime. Maybe not so much in the winter, obviously, because the water is going to freeze unless I have a hot tent, which I do plan on getting this year, hopefully. These canisters are just built awesome, built rock solid. A couple different ways you can open it. There's the big spout, and then there's also the smaller spouts. There's this smaller spout with the ventilation. All right, so in this bin here, I just keep a lot of the basics. Just some booster cables, the Flow and Go siphoning system, which works excellent, a fuel filter, large extension cord, tow rope, which I've never had to use, 6,300 pounds, I believe, a reflective triangle, and just your basic fluids. Oh, and I did keep this thing. Some of you guys might remember this from that video I did on cheap survival gear. Survival gear I'm ashamed to own. It's just a kind of all-in-one vehicle multi-tool. Has a flashlight on it, has hazard signal. It will adhere to anything metal because it does have the magnetized thing on it. It has a flashlight. You can charge things off of it. Pretty cheap piece of crap, to tell you the truth, but I figure, you know what, why not throw it in there? At least I have it. I just have some shop towels, clean up any mess. I have this stuff, which I hope I never have to use because that means your tire is pretty much screwed. It's a puncture seal. You spray it into the tire and it finds the leak and it will clog the leak. Some WD-40, of course. All the fluids I would need. I have some windshield washer fluid, some coolant, some fuel stabilizer, WD-40, transmission fluid, and just a quart of engine oil. This is a very new truck, so I don't see many problems with the engine anytime soon. If I do, then that's not a good thing. And I also have some gas line antifreeze. And I have several boxes of these fuses in there as well. Now I also have some cat litter, which is great for traction. It's very absorbent, so it's going to allow the snow to clump up underneath the tire so that you can get some traction. So that could be a very useful thing to have in an emergency situation in winter time. As you've seen in part 1 and 2, all of my shelter and clothing stuff is in this container. Shelter and clothing, a big thing here in Canada. I also keep in here some rubber boots. If I was ever in a situation where I was muddy and I was stuck, I would probably put these boots on because you don't want to damage your shoes, get them entirely soaking wet, and then be stuck with wet feet. So having a good cheap pair of rubber boots, these are only 20 bucks from Walmart. I seldom ever have to use them. I only use them when I have to, and they work great for what their intended purpose is. So behind the scepter, so right here, we have our 400 watt outlet. Comes in very handy. Storage compartment. There's also a storage compartment on the other side. The Tacoma also has this nifty little rail system. These things can come out if you want. They come in very, very handy. All right, so another thing I don't have here is some sort of traction system for the tires in case they did get stuck in the snow. That might be something you want to consider if you have a two-wheel drive vehicle, or even if you do have a four-wheel drive and you're in a place that has a lot of snow. There's a variety of different traction systems that you can get that you just open up, unfold them, put them under the tire, and they might give you that extra little bit of traction. There's things that you can actually strap to the tire itself. I think the kitty litter should do me fine with the Tacoma. I'm going to be putting some pretty heavy duty winter tires on here. It's looking like it's going to be the Wrangler Duratrack based on the feedback I got in the last video. Most people reported good things about those. There was a couple criticisms, but the pros vastly outweighed the cons. There's another thing I don't include here, and that's my Mr. Heater Big Buddy. I only have the Big Buddy. If I could, I would probably get one of these smaller, more portable heating buddy systems for the vehicle. The Mr. Heaters are very good for like an ice fishing shack, or even just heating a small cabin or a small space, a large tent maybe. All right, so I hope I was able to give you guys some ideas on how you can prep your vehicle for winter time. Stay tuned because the next part of the series is going to be going inside the vehicle. I'm working with a company right now to help me outfit the inside of the vehicle with some tactical customization. So that video might be a month out or so. And don't forget to leave in the comments what truck modification you think is most important, or how should I prioritize the modifications to this vehicle when it comes to things like, you know, the roof rack, the rear bumper, the front bumper. Is a winch necessary, or is it overkill? Is it just dead weight most of the time? Should I do a lift kit? Things like that. I'm really curious to hear your input, especially those of you who've had a lot of experience with trucks. Remember, I've driven a Jeep for the last 10 years, and this is the first truck I've ever owned. So I'm wondering what you found with your experience has been the most useful. Thanks for watching. Canadian Prepper out.